Hi guys, it's Chen and welcome back to my channel, and today we are continuing our read along of Disabled Tyrant's Beloved Pet Fish. Of course, I'm only going to start saying it right before we end off volume 2, and probably by the time we get to volume 3 I'm going to have to relearn how to just be able to say that title. So anyway, hi. I am sorry I'm a little bit late, but I wanted to also mention I just checked, just slightly under 100 pages away from the end of volume 2, so this is going to be the penultimate live reading for this volume, and then we are moving over to the next volume of Urha. It's on order. I really hope it gets here in time. But that being said, I'm planning to do 3 hours tonight, and then hopefully, if all goes well, we'll have about 2 hours next week. And I think then we'll be good on the 100 pages. So I do want to cover about 60 in this one, so we might go slightly over the time if necessary. I hope the audio is okay. I checked, but you know, you never 100% know with YouTube, and it did seem to be lagging on my side when I was testing things, so not sure about that, but hopefully if it is lagging, it's just the visual and not the audio. If there are issues, just let me know. Okay, we're gonna give like just a few minutes for people to come in. I know I'm a little bit late, maybe just like 2 more minutes. Hi. And then we'll go from there. And for anyone who is new here, hi, I'm Janae. I do read-alongs of Danmei mostly, and we take breaks on the hour for like 10 minutes each time. I have tea here with me, and that's about it. So okay, all of that being said, let me get our book so long. So for anyone who wants to follow along, we are on page 299, chapter 67, and this chapter titles "The Fish Was Hard to Cast Out." Interesting. Okay, what tea is on the menu? Coffee at the moment. There was some coffee left over from earlier, so I just took that, and then we will get normal tea when I go on my first break, and then water. So a lot on the menu tonight. Hi. Okay, I think I'm ready. Let's hope for the best. And I do have a cough, so prayers for the voice. Oh right, for anyone wondering, we were on Prisjing asking Leah that, like, if he can have his essence absorbed, or vice versa. It's unclear, and by the first sentence it seems like it's unclear to Leah as well. Absorb essence? Leah wasn't quite sure, so he asked quietly, slowly, "Your Highness, what does this mean?" Prince Cheng had first written that note because he wanted to express his own emotions. He never thought Leah would get his hands on it. Now that his secret was revealed to Xiaoyu, he was most worried that Xiaoyu would work out that he already knew the carb spirit's identity. Prince Jing decided to just shake his head, expression blank. Right, I mean, that's a fair fear from his perspective. If he refused to admit it, then all would be fine. Leo curled his hand into a fist and coughed into it lightly. So, Your Highness is saying you also don't know what this means, and it has nothing to do with you? Prince Jing hesitated for a second, then nodded fervently. Great, maybe you should have just been like, I was wanting to inquire about the meaning of it, or something like that. Leo laughed inside. He and Prince Jing had read a lot of novels together by now. He knew that in the novels, when Liao wanted to absorb essence, it meant they wanted to do various indescribable things to the scholar. Oh crap, right? Yeah, you guys did read together. Did this mean Prince Jing also wanted to do those sorts of things with him? What kind of impure thoughts was this person's brain full of? And after being found out, he wouldn't even admit it? He never would have thought Prince Jing had such an immature side. Oh my goodness. The lovers tango. Oh, the euphemisms. Leah cursed Prince Jing out on the inside, but on the outside he smiled and said, "You really didn't write this, Your Highness. It's your handwriting." Prince Jing anxiously did his best to communicate that it really wasn't him. Okay, I get it. It wasn't you. Leah tried very hard not to laugh out loud and continued to tease him. "Then does Your Highness know what it means to absorb essence?" Leah laughed to himself. "This is what you get for taking advantage of me before. How does it feel now?" Asking for mercy, Prince Jing brought out a little golden fish from his sleeve and handed it silently to Leah. Leah liked gold and silver, so the prince had prepared some to keep him happy. The little fish was designed by Prince Jing himself and had been made not long ago. Oh, that's really cute, actually. "The fish is so cute. Is it for me?" Leah was immediately drawn to the little fish. He happily turned the small golden fish over in his hands again and again. It was charming and cute, and its tail was curved. Every part of it looked just like his fish form. There was a... Sir, you're not gonna clue into anything there? It's fine. There was a braided string attached to the fish's back, and it was in the exact shade of green that Leah liked. Leah touched the string gently and asked, despite already knowing the answer, "Where do I hang this?" Prince Jing smiled as he wrapped his arms around Leah and hung the little fish on the colorful silk tie around his waist. Leah played with the fish at his waist for a while, then looked at Prince Jing with bright eyes. "Your Highness, don't change the subject. Tell me what absorbing essence is." Xiaoyu was a little hard to distract. Prince Jing was both happy and frustrated. Prince Jing was struggling to find a way to escape answering Leah's repeated questioning when he was saved by Wang Xi's careful knock on the door. Our wingman stepping in again. Poor Prince Jing is being teased, lol. Yeah, I mean, I want to say like it serves him because he's been teasing, but I'm pretty sure most of the teasing that he's been doing hasn't been on purpose, funnily enough. Like, it's been more out of misunderstanding and miscommunication than anything else. Prince Jing was struggling to find a way to, oh, sorry. Wang Xi didn't want to interrupt because his master had requested privacy whenever Li Gongzi was visiting. The sixth prince was here and had already been waiting for a while in Ninghui Hall. Wang Xi knew the sixth prince had once brought his master harm, so Wang Xi hadn't treated him with the utmost respect. But the sixth prince had said he came from the palace, so Wang Xi couldn't make him wait for too long. "Your Highness, the sixth prince is here from the palace. He said he is here to apologize." Wang Xi spoke apologetically. He didn't want to, but he'd interrupted his master and Li Gongzi again. I think this is the only time you're getting a free pass for interrupting, because you're kind of bailing the prince out a little bit. At least in Prince Jing's eyes, I feel. Li Gongzi and his master had a pretty big fight last time. Wang Xi and the rest of the servants had all been worried. Finally, things had blown over, and Wang Xi couldn't wait for the two of them to reconcile. So, were they together now or not? From Wang Xi's silent observations, his master and Li Gongzi had already slept in the same bed, and they were already touching and hugging each other, so they must be together now. But then, for a while, all Li Gongzi and the master did was converse, read books, and practice calligraphy. They were both very respectful, and it seemed like perhaps they weren't together after all. Fair. I understand Wang Xi's confusion. After that, Li Gongzi ran away because he didn't want to be intimate with Prince Jing, so Prince Jing ordered the walls to be carved with those words that Wang Gonggong was still too embarrassed to look at. But when Li Gongzi let the master come close again, so they should be together now, right? Here's all of us. Then again, every time the master saw Li Gongzi, he'd go take a cold bath. Li Gongzi didn't know about this, but as Prince Jing's closest servant, Wang Xi did. Oh my goodness. If they were actually together, how could this happen? I mean, they're taking it slow, okay? And so, to this day, Wang Gonggong could only describe his master and Li Gongzi's relationship as extremely complicated. Seemingly, they're but perhaps actually not. Wang Xi had been afraid of disturbing Prince Jing, but after he managed to bring himself to interrupt, why did it seem like Prince Jing let out a sigh of relief? Prince Jing patted Li Ye's hand, ready to go throw the sixpence out. Actually, he was just afraid Xiaoyu would continue asking about essence. He really felt too awkward and couldn't answer, so he wanted to use the sixpence as an excuse to let it blow over. Xiaoyu liked to play, so maybe by the time he came back, he'd stop asking. Your Highness, you're going to see the sixpence? As soon as Li heard the sixpence, his original teasing manner became nervous. He automatically grabbed Prince Jing's sleeve. The sixpence was Prince Jing's greatest enemy in the original book. Once the second and third princes were no longer in the running, the emperor began to see the sixpence in a new light. He had always hidden behind the third prince, ruthless and calculating. Prince Jing had fallen for many of his traps, and because of Chu Yanyu, Prince Jing had nearly died by the six princes' hands. Even after being thoroughly defeated, he still managed to cause a lot of trouble for Prince Jing. Even if the plot was completely different now, the six princes' character traits couldn't have changed much, right? That's a fair concern. It's like, I don't care how the plot changes, the personality probably won't change. Leo knew the six princes' background, but he didn't know how to explain it to Prince Jing. When Ye Qingyan had been plotted against, Leo said he'd come across the information unexpectedly. It wasn't a particularly good story, but thankfully Prince Jing trusted him and didn't ask too many questions. But if he said the same again when it came to the sixth prince, it would be too suspicious. I mean, he thinks you're a corpse bird, you're safe, but I know you don't know that. Leo frowned in thought, trying to think of a reason to tell Prince Jing to watch out for the sixth prince. Seeing his furrowed brows, Prince Jing reached over and smoothed them out with slightly cool fingertips. Your Highness, if I asked you to be careful of the sixth prince. Prince Jing was so gentle, Leo just blurted it out. Prince Jing glanced at him, then nodded. Okay. You don't want to ask why? Leo asked. Prince Jing pointed at the wall. Next to the painting of the fish, he'd carefully hung up Leo's rules. He was afraid he'd forget the conditions he'd agreed to, so he put them up there to remind himself. Leo understood. He was trying to say that according to the agreement, Prince Jing had to believe him. If Leo didn't want to say, Prince Jing wouldn't ask. But the agreement only stated that Prince Jing couldn't ask where he was going. He didn't expect Prince Jing to extend that to anything he didn't want to talk about. That is him being very generous, but I understand from Prince Jing's perspective why he is allowing that. Wasn't that a good thing? It was good, very good. This was the best possible outcome. Leo felt reassured, but he still felt like he had to give some sort of reason. Your Highness, the Sixth Prince has harmed you before. Please don't trust him. Leo didn't know why the Sixth Prince was visiting, but still it was better to be safe than sorry. Prince Jing nodded. He touched Leo's face, smiling, asking him not to worry. Then he left with Wang Xi. Leo didn't go with them. I kind of wish he would have, because then he would have actually maybe been able to like suss out what the subtext and whatever the Sixth Prince is about to say might be. But yeah. Hi. Guys and girls, get yourself a partner like Prince Jing. Yeah, there is definitely a list of people that you model your partners at after, and if it's not um, Gomez Adams, then it's one of the people in All the Down Men we read. Partially because he didn't want to show up in front of the Sixth Prince, and partially because he was afraid he didn't have much time left. Yeah, fair. He decided to wait for Prince Jing in his room instead. Prince Jing's note was still there. He hadn't taken away the evidence. And he observed the bold, vigorous brushstrokes on his own. They were both men, so he could understand how Prince Jing was feeling. Though Prince Jing had certainly thought, though Prince Jing had certain thoughts towards him, he hadn't done anything due to their agreement. At most, he'd said a few flirtatious things on paper. His Highness was so good to him. He couldn't let someone like that go. As Lier thought this, the corners of his lips raised mischievously. The Sixth Prince waited for a long time before Prince Jing finally came out to see him. Wu Tianxiao approached, wanting to say a few customary pleasantries, but Prince Jing only glanced at the gifts, nodded coldly, and prepared to chase his guest out. He didn't have any intentions of asking the Sixth Prince to sit. Wu Tianxiao rubbed his nose and said gently, "I've offended you. I hope you can forgive me, brother." Wu Tianxiao didn't mention the third prince at all. He'd only come for his own sake anyway. The Sixth Prince was apologizing to Prince Jing, but the third prince hadn't. The difference between them was clear. Wu Tianxiao wanted to get rid of the third prince as soon as possible. The biggest obstacle between him and the throne had never been the arrogant second prince or the third prince, who he had in the palm of his hand. The fact that he knows that is what stresses me. Gomez is the goat. I love him. Like, he and Morticia are couple goals. Prince Jing, your apology has been considered, and it has been considered worthless. Oh my goodness, I love that. Fifth brother, I was deceived before and nearly had a misunderstanding with you and your fish. The topic suddenly changed. I heard fifth brother loves this fish so much you want to take it around with you everywhere. Why don't I see it now? Wu Tianxiao thought there was something up with Prince Jing's fish, and he wanted to probe a little bit. Well, if nothing else was gonna put Prince Jing's guard up, that's certainly will. Why can I not speak tonight? I'm so sorry. Prince Jing glanced at Wang Xi with a stiff expression. Wang Gongong immediately responded. Fifth Prince, His Highness's fish is very precious. It doesn't like to visit irrelevant people. Oh! Ow, damn! That shocked me so much I lost my place. Mu Tianxiao was randomly slapped in the face by a fish who wasn't even present. As well as Wang Gongong has been able to read Prince Jing, he's starting to be able to understand Xiao Ye in his fish form equally well, because that actually sounds like something Xiao Ye would say. My goodness. Or at least think. Mu Tianxiao wanted to keep asking questions, but Prince Jing didn't have the patience to listen to him. Since he came to apologize, shouldn't he leave after putting things down? The Sixth Prince didn't even get a sip of hot tea. Prince Jing gave Wang Xi another glance, wanting him to see the guest out. Unbelievable, thought Mu Tianxiao. He bade Prince Jing farewell and left Minghui Hall. When he was almost out of the manor, someone with disheveled hair threw themselves at him. Your Highness, Your Highness! They sobbed as they threw themselves into Mu Tianxiao's arms. Oh no, it's gonna be Chen Yen? I can't remember what it... Chen Yen, that the dude that was supposed to be the main love interest and didn't end up being... I don't know why, but I'm very scared that he's gonna end up with like a suicide ending. I hope that's not the case. Mu Tianxiao's first instinct was to push them away, thinking they were part of some plan by Prince Jing, but when the person looked up, face tear-streaked, Mu Tianxiao was shocked. "Does your Highness not recognize me anymore?" he cried. Are you... You are? Mu Tianxiao could not believe that the person before him, with this ashen complexion and eyes as swollen as peaches, was Qu Yanyu, that dude. Sorry, I could not for the life of me remember his name. Who used to be so bright and open. If he didn't still look somewhat similar, Mu Tianxiao would never have recognized him. You are. How did you come to be in this state? It was very hard for Mu Tianxiao to contact Qu Yanyu. It got harder and harder each time he tried to send a note to Prince Jing's manor. Qu Yanyu had only mentioned briefly that Prince Jing barely showed him any attention, but Mu Tianxiao never expected this. Qu Yanyu bit his lip, crying without answering. He didn't know how to tell the Sixth Prince that Prince Jing had never even looked him in the eye. He'd failed to drug Prince Jing, and in the end he was the one who had been drugged. Nobody defiled him. He was tied up, unable to move. He screamed and cried, losing his mind, trying all he could to get relief. He couldn't have been in a sorrier state. He was tied up for 3 days before the drug finally subsided. Oh, that's intense. Damn. Oh. But his body was ruined. In what way? Even worse, everyone in Qingxi Garden had heard his minders screaming. Now they looked at him with blatant contempt. Qu Yanyu forced himself not to think about those memories as he knelt before the Sixth Prince. Your Highness, I really can't stay at Prince Jing's manor any longer. Please take me back. He didn't want to stay in Qingxi Garden and Prince Jing's manor anymore. He never wanted to see Prince Jing again. Now that the Sixth Prince was here, he liked the Sixth Prince, and the Sixth Prince liked him back. He still wanted to be with the Sixth Prince. In the past, if Mu Tianxiao had been faced with such a weeping beauty, he definitely would have comforted him gently. But this was Prince Jing's manor. Mu Tianxiao was afraid this was part of Prince Jing's plan. Well, I have mixed feelings about Qu Yanyu, but a good way for him to see who he thought cared about him, I guess. As hard as that is to say. That you're relaxing, and I don't know, is good luck with Ramadan an appropriate thing to say? It feels a bit strange, but like I hope it goes well. I feel so bad for Chen. Yeah, cause like for the most part he's just been a pawn, which you can't help but feel sorry for someone who's treated like that basically their entire lives. Where am I? Oh. As he scanned their surroundings, he thought there were eyes all around them. Qu Yanyu's appearance shocked him. Mu Tianxiao worried that Prince Jing had created the scene to reveal that he and Qu Yanyu were involved. He'd only just felt a glimmer of hope that the Emperor might value him. He couldn't let Qianye ruin his reputation now. He had to distance himself from Qianye. Chu Gongzi, you and I have never met. As you have entered my brother's manor, you belong to him. Why are you saying all this to me? Wu Tianxiao yelled loudly, pretending to be angry as he pushed Qianye away. You didn't have to go that far, sir. Like, damn. If you continue like this, don't blame me for what will come after. The Sixth Prince ruthlessly slapped Qianye in the face, then turned to leave with a wave of his feet. That was totally uncalled for. Even if you're like trying to put distance between the two of you. The Sixth Prince... Oh, sorry, I read that already. I don't want to read that again. Qianye had barely managed to sneak out because he heard the Sixth Prince was coming. He never thought the Sixth Prince, who'd always cared for him the most, would hit him. That slap left Qianye completely dazed, and he heard the sound of his heart shattering. I actually feel a bit bad for him. Prince Jing watched all this silently from a distance. Your Highness, this... Rongxi was afraid to speak. His Highness had never cared about Qianye, but why did he ask him to lead Qianye to the Sixth Prince this time? The Sixth Prince had hit Qianye, but from Qianye's reaction, he could tell that the two of them definitely knew each other. Prince Jing glanced at him. Rongxi understood his master wanted him to continue as ordered, so he nodded and got busy. Because of this, Prince Jing was delayed in getting back to Xiaoye. He walked faster. That's interesting. I kind of wondered for a moment if he was trying to turn Qianye against the Sixth Prince and being like, you know, we'll write off everything you did in the past and set you free if you know, come to our side and help us stay informed about what's going on with the Sixth Prince. But I'm not sure how you would have to wrangle it in order to get the Sixth Prince to take Qianye back in without the Sixth Prince being suspicious about it. Everything is Prince Jing's plan, lol. Always. And also pleasure. The room was dark. Half of the candles were extinguished, leaving only a dim, warm light by the bed. There was no one by the bed or in the room. Xiaoye had probably transformed already. Prince Jing was very frustrated. Perhaps he shouldn't have tried to confirm the relationship between Qianye and the Sixth Prince. When Prince Jing saw Qianye and the Sixth Prince, a weird feeling welled up in his heart. Didn't know why, he felt a flicker of gratification when Qianye was hit, but it was a shame he couldn't see Xiaoye again. He'd probably have to wait until tomorrow. As this disappointing thought crossed his mind, though, the slightly shut curtains around the bed twitched open, and Xiaoye poked his head out, rubbing his eyes blearily. Oh! He waited for him and accidentally fell asleep. Your Highness, you took a long time to get back. I'm about to fall asleep, he giggled. Prince Jing was surprised and delighted. He stared at Lieb unblinkingly. The youth got up, pulled his robes up around his shoulders, and turned up one of the oil lamps by the bed to make it brighter and also brighter that let me try reading that sentence again, because nothing there was flowing well. The youth got up, pulling his robe up around his shoulders. He turned up one of the oil lamps by the bed to make it brighter, and also brightened the only hint of warmth in Prince Jing's heart. Your Highness, Nia blushed a little, sneakiness creeping in behind the shyness. You still haven't told me what absorbing essence is. This poor man really thought he got away with it, didn't he? He genuinely thought Xiaoye would let it go. Alas. Okay, chapter 68. Fishy reads a novel. I can relate. Leah isn't gonna let this go? Definitely not. Prince Jing really didn't know what to do this time with this fish. He smiled and reached over to pat Leah on the head. Did this mean the same thing as when he patted the fish's head? Leah wondered. Oh, whatever. Leah pulled Prince Jing down to sit by him. Prince Jing was a little cautious because he didn't know what Xiaoye wanted, but he still sat down. Before he sat down all the way, the fish quickly shut the curtains with a whoosh. A faint glow from the oil lamp outside filtered through the curtains. The fabric was embroidered with cotton roses, and their shadows played over the youth's snowy white undershirt. His star-like eyes shone with a jumping flame. Prince Jing's breath hitched. The desire for Xiaoye surged unstoppably within his heart, but remembering their agreement, he did his best to suppress it. Your Highness, why are you sitting so far away? Come closer. Leah patted the jade pillow next to him. Prince Jing didn't dare get too close. He only moved over a little bit. Leah urged him a few times, then giggled. I'm not a fierce beast. Your Highness, are you afraid of me? Prince Jing thought silently, you aren't a fierce beast, but you are a seductive little yowl. Oh goodness. Which is much more dangerous. But he couldn't just stay there when the seductive little yowl had asked so many times. After hesitating for a while, he sat down next to Xiaoye. There was only a finger's width between them. Leah was just waiting for him to get close enough, and he immediately wrapped his arms around Prince Jing and pulled him in. Now there was no more space between them. Your Highness, look! Leah pulled out a few books from behind him as if he were performing a magic trick. By the lights from the outside bed, outside the bed, Prince Jing saw it was the Legend of the White Snake, which he hadn't read in a long time. I don't know if I'm ready for whatever's about to result from this. Leah shoved the book into his hand and stuffed himself back into his arms. He couldn't be more pleased on the inside, but on the outside he said very seriously, Since your Highness wouldn't tell me what absorbing essence meant, I thought I would be able to find the answer in one of your many books. So I looked through them. Who's the tease again? Quickly inform me. Jing didn't know what to do with the soft, warm body that was suddenly pressed against his. He didn't even know where to put his limbs. He felt like he'd fallen into the carp spirit's gentle trap as soon as he'd entered the canopy of the bed, but he was happy to fall. As he mentally recited the pure heart mantra, he quietly watched the carp spirit in his arms put on a performance. And then, guess what? I found it. It's in these books. Look, Your Highness. Look at what the white snake spirit said to the scholar Shi. Leah lay back into Prince Jing's chest, flipping to a certain page in the book. He pointed to a line that read it out loud. Husband, we Yao need to absorb essence. The fact that he's like pointing out everything about this, and yet he's not cluing into where Prince Jing's thought processes might be at. I'm not gay being an absolute flirt, yes, 100%. And we have some beautiful art again. I'm so freaking excited for Justice in the Dark's art once we get volume 1. Sorry, I just have to say that because I can't stop thinking about it. But for now, let's appreciate this beautiful art here. Okay. Prince Jing was shocked. Something was going to happen if they continued like this. He quickly covered the fearless corpse bird's mouth. Leo shook like he'd pulled a muscle, then burst into laughter. Prince Jing didn't want him to say it, but he was going to anyway. He freed his mouth and stubbornly flipped to another page. Here it is again. Husband, we all must absorb essence every day. He's gonna think you're like, I don't even want to say flirting, like coming onto him in the sense of, let's do this right now. That's kind of the way, like, why is he picking that specific phrase and saying it out loud over and over again? Let's just light a candle for Prince Jing right now. Mm. Leah blinked and looked up at Prince Jing. Your Highness, he asked as if he didn't know, is this what you were talking about? Leah called him husband. Calling him husband was really testing Prince Jing. He could barely keep himself under control. After some internal struggle, he nodded his head lightly. Every day means every day, Prince Jing. Indeed. Well, I still can't believe that's like an actual thing in an actual Danmei that I've read. You say after he understood his feelings, Leo became a menace, but I still wonder if he fully grasps what he's doing to this man. Like, I think he thinks he knows what he's doing to this man, but I think it's worse than he realizes. Leo thought he finally had Prince Jing hooked and said smugly, Your Highness, it also explains how exactly they went about absorbing in the novel. If you're still not sure, let's read it together. If they read it together, perhaps something could happen. At least that was Leah's plan. But keeping their agreement in mind, Prince Jing adamantly shook his head, wanting to put the book away. This wasn't going quite as Leah had thought it would. While Prince Jing was gone, Leah had already skimmed through the whole book. Although there were a lot of ancient words he couldn't read, he could still make most of it out. His comprehension skills were shockingly adept. Prince Jing took good care of him, and he loved and cared for Prince Jing. He'd always had the intention of becoming more intimate with Prince Jing, but the book had really stoked the flames in his heart. He had been lying down for a while, but he couldn't calm down, so he decided to wait for Prince Jing on the bed. No matter what, he had to get Prince Jing to agree. But now, at this crucial moment, why wasn't Prince Jing cooperating? The miscommunication here. Prince Jing is about to have an aneurysm. Oh, I think now I take back what I said, because clearly he just changed his tune very rapidly. And the reason Prince Jing wasn't cooperating seemed to be the agreement he himself had laid down. Thank you, I'm glad you realized that, because I was wondering if you'd forgotten it. Leo suddenly felt like he'd shot himself in the foot. No, Leo suddenly thought, what I want right now doesn't exactly contradict the agreement. When he first laid the rules down, it wasn't because he didn't ever want to do those things. It was mostly because he was afraid he'd lose track of time and turn into a fish in the middle of it. There was no way he could recover from that. But he'd forgotten there was things they could do where he didn't need to be afraid of turning into a fish. Why did they have to restrain themselves? The novel was useless, unable to seduce his boyfriend for him. He had to do it himself. Leah was busy for a while, even kicking the books off the bed. He looked up with a mysterious smile. Your Highness, I have a friend who told me boyfriends can do other things together besides merely spending the night. Prince Jing was just about to get jealous over the friend when a sweet pair of lips pressed against his. Xiao Yue put Prince Jing's hand on the string of pearls at his waist, smiling shyly. The leaf green blanket with the gold edge was scrunched up into a ball, then spread back out. Occasionally, sweet laughter would come from underneath it. Leo felt like he could drown in this tenderness. Blushing, he asked in a small voice, "Your Highness, let's do it together, okay?" I don't know if he's gonna catch that euphemism. I don't even know if you can really call that a euphemism, but I don't know if he'll understand what you mean by that. Prince Jing didn't really understand, okay. But Xiaoyu made him understand with his body. There were many ways for corpse spirits to absorb essence. Prince Jing was just a bit inexperienced. Of course, Prince Jing listened to Xiaoyu. Listening to Xiaoyu meant he got to be absorbed, as well as dine on fish. That does not sound good. He'd never experienced such joy. "Your Highness, how long do you normally last?" Leo peeked out from the warm blanket with his hair a mess. His exposed neck was covered in indecent red marks. Prince Jing couldn't look away. Leo rubbed his toe against Prince Jing's leg. The sixpence had come at the wrong time. He didn't have much time left, and he got his answer. He could prepare for the next step. Prince Jing, whose hair was just as messy, felt like he'd only just gotten a taste. No man would be modest at a time like this. He silently held up one finger. 10 minutes? That fast? Oh no, please tell me it's not gonna be something ridiculous where it's like, okay, we're gonna have to schedule this in the future, because otherwise it's not gonna work. Furious, Prince Jing pinched his butt. With just a little pressure, Leah was already yelping. Realizing his mistake, Leah smiled apologetically. "Sorry, I got it wrong, not that fast. If it wasn't 10 minutes, then an hour? Either way, there wasn't enough time." Leo stood up and kissed him on the corner of his lips apologetically. "Sorry, Your Highness, I have to leave again." Prince Jing understood. He ruffled his hair. "We love an understanding partner. That's great." Like, that is all the green flags. Leo laughed. "You shouldn't take so many cold baths in the future." Call them right out. Oh my goodness. Although they couldn't take it all the way in the end, like other couples, they could try all the steps that came first. After Li Gongzi left, Prince Jing always took a cold bath. Though he could hide it from Li Gongzi, Xiaoyu saw everything. That makes sense. That makes sense. I don't know if Prince Jing thought that far, but that makes sense. Jing froze, then nodded, wanting to kiss Leo again. But his gentle little fish suddenly pushed him away and yelled, "Ah, there's no time." Xiaoyu, who had finished absorbing essence, hastily pulled on some clothes, then immediately ran off. As Prince Jing lay there, it felt like he could still feel that captivating tenderness. The little carp in the fish tank was skulking around, behaving as if he'd done something wrong. He waited for a while to confirm that the person on the bed was asleep, and then he finally pulled out the cute little golden fish. Now he had a new gift. Prince Jing was always giving him things. Leo kissed it happily, then entered the system, feeling uplifted. That is actually quite cute. Like, a little bit strange, but still cute. Leo is so dumb, he basically confessed being in the fish. Oh, yeah, I know. Okay. As expected, while he and Prince Jing were tussling about in the blankets, the quest had updated. But at the time, Leo's hands and mouth had been very busy, so he had no time to check. This really meant his relationship with Prince Jing was progressing quite well. So much so that he didn't even really care about the quests. Unexpectedly, the quest that he thought had been stuck in a logic loop was cleared just like that. Getting married was on one way to progress in a relationship, so was being intimate. As he and Prince Jing grew closer and closer, perhaps he'd be able to breeze through the next quest too. Leah thought his current mindset was a good one. He had to keep it up. He could strategically disregard the system, but in terms of actual goals, he had to figure out how to fully become a human. The reward for the inseparable quest was another one of Prince Jing's secrets. Leah thought that after the main quest line of Priceless Pet Fish, the system had gotten a lot stingier. Each quest only rewarded him with a single secret, but perhaps Priceless Pet Fish was just the tutorial level. It needed the fish to level up quickly. Now that he had a good foundation of skills, it was time to get more in-depth by learning secrets. I mean, that's logical, I guess. Like last time, there were 4 choices. The 3 he hadn't chosen from the indulging quest were still there, but the one Leah had already seen had been replaced by another one, showing the vague shine of a sword. Leah looked at it. There was no chance the system would show him all the tyrant behavior Prince Jing had tried to keep hidden from him, right? He was afraid of violent bloody scenes, so he rejected the sword instinctively. As for the rest, Leah chose the dark palace that he didn't recognize. He had already mentally prepared himself and immediately entered the memory. This was the corner of some unknown palace in a dark room. There was a sewing box on the table, and in the box was a half-sewn toy tiger. A slightly chubby woman in her 30s sat next to the table. This woman had a melancholy expression, occasionally picking up the tiger to add a few stitches. She looked like she was waiting for someone. Before long, a servant came in. Leah was confused. He had no memory of this person. If this was someone serving Prince Jing, he would be very familiar with them by now. I would assume it might be Prince Jing's mother, but we'll see. Because I can't remember if we've learned anything about Prince Jing's mother so far. I feel like we surely have, but I think I've just forgotten it. The servant handed a small paper package to the woman. She was terrified and distressed, kneeling down on the ground to beg for mercy, but the servant ignored her. Eventually, perhaps because he ran out of patience, he kicked the woman. With no other choice, the woman poured out the powder with shaky hands. Is it like suicide powder? What's going on? Leah thought perhaps she was being forced to drug Prince Jing, but in the next moment the woman swallowed the powder, tears streaming down her face. That was the end of the secret, only leaving him with more new questions than answers. He knew the secret was related to Prince Jing's past, but in the memory of the prince almost drowning, he had been able to see Prince Jing and even himself. He could even hear. But this memory had no sound and no Prince Jing. I don't know if this would count as a memory if what I'm thinking is correct. Maybe it's not that much of maybe it doesn't necessarily have to be a memory to be a secret. Maybe it was abortion powder, so technically Prince Jing is there, but he's in his mom's stomach, and she's not, I don't know. If Prince Jing wasn't there, how could it be Prince Jing's secret? What relation did the woman and servant have to Prince Jing? And that powder? Most of the powders in the palace were either aphrodisiacs or poison. Why did the woman take it herself? It couldn't be that she was another Qianye plotting to drug Prince Jing and thus being forced to take it herself. The woman seemed a little on the older side, so it didn't seem likely. Besides, there weren't many people in the world like Qianye. Leah didn't understand, but he had experience now. If you didn't understand something from the system, you could usually just set it aside for the time being. Now that the inseparable quest was complete, Leah was both nervous and excited about the next quest. What kind of nonsense task would require them to be even closer than they were now? Leah was feeling suspicious. He took a deep breath and clicked open the main quest. The next step was stay with the tyrant through thick and thin. That's actually quite cute. Like, that feels like it's a long con type situation, but that is really cute though. Okay, we are at the end of a chapter. We're at page 319, chapter 69. So I think I'm gonna take the break now, and then we'll be back at like 5 past ish to continue for the next hour, since I think it's just gonna be easier that way. Okay, sorry, I'm finally back. Let's get down to business again. Let's just see here. Back with tea and food. I have tea, I do not have food. I got my copy of Legend of Exorcism though yesterday. It looks so cute. I so badly want to get it. Like, just, I don't want to say just for the cover art alone, because obviously I'm also interested in the story and like seeing how it differs from the Donghua. But like, not gonna lie, that cover art went a long way to justifying it to myself. So it's on the list. It definitely needs to be bought at some point. I'm not sure if I'd be able to do a read along for it because there's so many things to read on the list. But anyway, one thing. Oh no, I not anything important, but I don't know if I've probably mentioned this before, but I am the designated tea maker in the house, and I make tea for the entire family during the break. And when I went to take the tea to my mom, Juliet was like snuggled up against her and looking so cute. It was very distracting. Okay. Oh, let's get going again. Chapter 69, Fish Buying Antiques. That's interesting. If you want me to send you a copy, I can. It'll take 3 weeks to get you. I would not ask that of you. Like, that's amazing. Thank you so much. But like, I feel like that is asking a lot of you. And also expecting a lot of our postal system. So, but okay. Sorry, I'm now so hot. We were on page 319 for anyone who wants to follow along. Leah thought the next quest would be something more shameless, something that would push him and Princeton closer, but in the end it turned out to be staying with the Tyrant through thick and thin. I mean, that kind of sounds like the system is saying you need to propose to him and get married and live happily ever after, amen. Does it not? Like, is that just me being wishful? I'm not sure. Did this mean they would be going to face some? Did this mean they were going to face some sort of hardship together? Even if they were, it would be fine. Every moment with Prince Jing was a happy one. Now that they were lovers, he couldn't expect everything to go smoothly all the time. No matter what, he'd continue onward with Prince Jing side by side. I mean, not gonna lie, besides the, like, plot value of having Prince Jing know Xiaoye's secret already, at least in a sense, the fact that he knows and there's not going to be like that as the big secret that splits them apart for a while is fantastic. I mean, I feel like maybe you could still have an argument for them splitting up when it comes out that he is technically not of this world, because then maybe there's like this fear from Prince Jing's side that he could be abandoned at any moment. But I feel like the thing that you would, if you just heard the premise from the first volume, would expect to be the blow up point is now avoided because of that. So I kind of love that. Leah was fully confident he could complete the step. The reward for thick and thin was another secret. It seemed like sooner or later he'd get to peek at all of Prince Jing's secrets. Leah smiled and exited the system, then glanced at the bed, worried Prince Jing was probably resting and not paying attention to the fish tank, so he swam to the silver rock bed and covered himself with the leaf blankets. Thinking back to what had happened under the real blanket with Prince Jing, the usually shameless fish was suddenly a little shy. About time. My goodness. His heart beat quickly in his chest, and he waved his tail in agitation as though that would help chase away the embarrassment. Never mind, they'd already done it, and they'd be going further in the future. What did he have to be embarrassed about? Oh my goodness. Leo kept comforting himself, but it still took many more flaps of his tail before he managed to slowly fall asleep. Meanwhile, the person on the bed waited until the fish was completely silent before opening his eyes to watch over the fish with a gentle gaze. My heart. Ye Qingyan's wedding to the Princess of Jinju drew closer. Sorry, I don't know why I just had like a moment of blankness. The little princess had invited Leah to the wedding, and Leah had agreed, but now it was soon enough that Leah thought it was about time to prepare a wedding gift. He couldn't just show up empty-handed. But during the day he had to go to work with Prince Jing as a fish, and at night he had to spend time with Prince Jing as a human. He couldn't avoid Prince Jing, so he picked a day to drag Prince Jing out to pick a gift. Prince Jing didn't really understand it. Wang Shi usually took care of these things, and Prince Jing had never paid attention to what Ye Qingyan liked. Why did Xiao Yue have to go buy it himself? Yeah, I get that being confusing for him. You just pick something random from the storeroom. I mean, you could, but that's not very thoughtful. Your Highness, it's the thought that counts, Li explained. You have to prepare a gift yourself to show your sincerity. Prince Jing was extremely unhappy with Xiao Yue bustling about busily for another person's sake, but he was happy about going out with Xiao Yue. The whole time he stuck to Xiao Yue's side, never straying far. Xiao Yue liked shiny golden things, so he also gave gifts along this theme. Considering Ye Shizi and the princess's status, after all, there was no need to buy them anything practical. With his boyfriend there to support him, Leah took a look at many high-end antique stores. Okay, that's where it comes in. Wanting to give the couple something sophisticated and classy. But Leah had no eye for antiques. At first, a violet gold incense pot caught his attention. Because Prince Jing had said they would try to hide who they were, the two of them were on their own without any guards. Prince Jing was new to shopping, and it showed, so the owner exaggerated wildly in praise of his stall, thinking it would be easy to make some money off this rich young man. Leah fell in love with the glittering golden incense pot engraved with complicated patterns. He was ready to pull out the money when Prince Jing couldn't take it anymore. He silently knocked a hole into the pot, revealing the actual color of the stone underneath. The gold was just a thin layer on the outside. You can't just break pots to prove a point. You communicate it in another way that I'm not sure what it would be. Because now you have to pay for the broken pot in anyway. Sob. So the pretty antique incense pot was fake. That couldn't be blamed on him. As a fish, he had no experience, so he couldn't tell. But he supposed antiques were called antiques for a reason. They should be dusty and old. If they were shiny and glittery, there was definitely something suspicious going on, so they shouldn't buy these. Wang Gonggong and the guards, who were following from a distance, took the store owner, who'd been selling fakes, to be dealt with by the relevant authorities. Okay, at least by the relevant authorities and not Prince Jing's mercy. Leo quickly learned his lesson. He decided to try again and went to another stall. This time, an accessory box caught his eye. The owner said it used to belong to a princess from the previous dynasty. Leo thought the box had a vintage feel to it, and it did look very old, so it had to be the real thing. The former belongings of a princess would definitely suit a princess. Leo was just about to buy it when Prince Jing coughed lightly and glanced out the window. Leo followed his gaze and saw the little peddler on the side of the road was selling a whole row of the exact same antique from the previous dynasty. Learned his lesson already, did he? Leo's confidence had taken a serious hit. He thought he just wasn't suited to buying antiques and decided to look at gold and silver decorations instead. He decided on a gold and jade folding screen, thinking there would be no problem this time. But the eagle-eyed Prince Jing spotted a very subtle crack on the back. As soon as he touched it, the whole thing split into, oh my goodness. I'm starting to wonder if, like, Prince Jing is a cursed shopping assistant at this point. Then Leo spotted a pair of green jade necklaces, one carved with a dragon and the other with a phoenix. Prince Jing casually threw a cup of cold tea on it, and it turned out they were made from fake jade. Dark green on the jade was painted on, and with the cold tea it all washed off. They looked through store after store. Anything that caught Leah's eye was either fake or damaged. Wangxi also caught owner after owner, but Leah remained giftless. I'm supposed to be a koi. What kind of luck is this? It's because you're a fake koi, sir, I think. Leo was very unhappy. He kept being fooled by a bunch of fakes. Didn't that mean he was as good as blind? Furious, he turned to leave with a huff. Prince Jing stopped him and tucked something into his hand. Leo wasn't mad at Prince Jing, but he felt really dumb, always picking out fakes, so he was a little embarrassed. For the sake of his boyfriend, he tried to calm down. Looking down at the thing Prince Jing had put in his hand, he saw it was a little golden fish. It was the same style as the previous one, with the same cute charm, but this time it was in a different pose. The one before had its tail curled, but this one had its lips pursed, like it was blowing bubbles. I thought it was gonna be like when he had kissed the golden fish the night before. But luckily that's not it. Leo furrowed his brows and glanced at Prince Jing, who was looking back at him. Leo knew he was trying to make him feel better, and ended up bursting into laughter. I think I might have made the wrong tea down. Okay, anyway. Holding the fish in his hands, he no longer felt so angry. How many of these little golden fish did he have? Leo moved closer to Prince Jing, so Prince Jing could tie the fish to his waist for him. Prince Jing hung it on his waist with a smile, then grabbed Leo's hand and took him to the biggest jewelry store in the city. The owner often did business with nobility, so he recognized Prince Jing. He hurried to greet them and exchanged some pleasantries. That was when Leo found out all the little fish were made here. He was so stupid. Why did he have to go look for a store on his own? Why didn't he ask Prince Jing for his opinion? Good question. Then he could have avoided being scammed so much on this wild goose chase. All because he never thought Prince Jing would come to a jewelry store. Prince Jing watched from the side as the owner brought out all the highest quality wares for Li Gongzi to choose from. Leo went all out and chose a pair of silver vases, a pair of golden and a pair of lifelike jade dolls. Prince Jing put down a few bills, and the owner quickly ordered some people to wrap up the goods to be delivered to the manor. He didn't get many chances to visit the store, so Leo decided to also buy an oval silver bead. The bead was the size of his thumb, and the design was like a modern globe, which was what caught Leo's eye. Prince Jing had given him so many gifts, but it seemed like he hadn't properly given Prince Jing anything back yet. Leo asked the owner for a red string. He strung the bead through the string and presented it to Prince Jing. This man really just got Prince Jing to buy his own gift, didn't he? It's for you, Your Highness, said Leo, smiling. Thank you for taking care of me. Prince Jing had paid for everything else. Leo should pay for this. Where did he get money? Let's not ask that. He rushed to pull out a light gold money pouch that was stuffed full. Actually, Wangshi had given him this before they left the manor, so it wasn't his money either. But it was coming from his hand, so that meant he bought it. Okay, fair enough. We'll not look further into that. A bead like this from the store had to be quite expensive, Leah thought. The owner wasn't sure what to say, too afraid to tell the truth, which was that this was just a little bead used for decorating. It wasn't worth much. In fact, he could just give it away for free, but faced with Prince Jing's icy stare at the young Gong's anticipation, after some careful consideration, the owner weakly gave a price. Leah paid for it happily. Oh, I appreciate that the owner didn't want to scam him. He was just like, okay, the prince is giving me the side eye. I need to make this feel expensive. Mm. The bead was indeed a little expensive. Leah felt bad he was taking the money out, but the price did reflect the quality, he supposed. When Prince Jing put the bead on right away, Leah couldn't be happier. He thought his taste wasn't quite bad to the point of being hopeless. Oh my goodness. At least he sure had a good eye when it came to boyfriends. We'll give him that credit, he does. After buying the gifts and returning to the manor, Prince Jing ordered someone to rewrite the gift list to include the ones Leah just bought. Why do our gifts have to be together? Leah knew his gifts couldn't compare to Prince Jing's. Prince Jing wrote Leah's name next to his own, giving him a deep glance. Leah suddenly understood and went bright red. The space next to her prince was for his consort. Why did Prince Jing want to put their names and gifts together? Because Leah was his family, his consort. I'm okay. But they were just dating. Did he actually want to be his consort or not? Leah thought it over, but the rejection never left his lips. On the day of the wedding, Leah wore the coral red robes Prince Jing had made for him. They were made of brocade and embroidered with silver lotuses. With a jade hairpin and a string of little golden fish tinkling at his waist, he looked dashing and vibrant. Prince Jing wore a set of matching robes in black, edged with crimson. He had a red ribbon in his hair and looked ethereally handsome. Every time he snuck a glance at him, Leah felt delighted. They seemed to be wearing matching outfits. Wouldn't they steal the show from Yishiza? I mean, with Yishiza's luck, yeah, actually. I'm assuming that unfortunately it's not the one he's wearing on the cover. Like, I think this is probably the one that he's wearing, but I don't think this is the one that the prince is wearing. I'm not sure. We don't have inside cover art. Oh, damn, I might have just spoiled. We'll see. I hope I didn't just spoil a scene that's coming later. Where was I? Oh, Prince Jing wrapped an arm around his waist to reassure him. Prince Jing didn't care what Ye Qingyan thought. Once they were both ready, the carriage headed off. Leah sat in the carriage with Prince Jing, but as soon as he was in the carriage, he realized something was off. Last time, when they went to the market, the carriage was very small and cramped, but this time it was very spacious. It had more than enough room for two of them. There was even a table, tea, and a few of his favorite pastries. Prince Jing smiled as he held Leah's hand, and they sat down together. Leah glared at Prince Jing. A bastard is a bastard after all. On this trip to the Chang'an Manor, just in case Ye had to transform in the middle of the wedding, Prince Jing brought his pet fish again. The fish plush was floating quietly in the corner of the bottle, staring at the two of them. I'm not understanding Leah's anger in this instance. When the carriage started moving, Prince Jing handed Leah a book, but not one featuring Liao. He had noticed that Leah liked reading. The carriage he'd selected this time was very large, so Leah lay down comfortably with his head resting on Prince Jing's knee and flipped through the book as he chatted with the prince. Prince Jing picked up a piece of peach blossom pastry and broke it into several pieces. He fed one to the fish in the crystal bottle, and the rest all went to the real carp sprite, who was waiting with his mouth wide open. Soon they arrived at Chang'an Manor. Today, Chang'an Manor was bustling with people and draped in colors and lanterns. The king of Jinju had come to attend the wedding, as well as friends and relatives of the Duke of Chang'an and plenty of court officials. Head Eunuch Law brought the emperor's edict along with a large amount of gifts. It took a while just to read the list of gifts. The king of Jinju loved this daughter of his, and her wedding procession was over 5 kilometers long. Who knows that many people? Like, even if we're like very loosely using the word know, who knows that many people? Damn. Her dowry was at least 100 boxes. Prince Jing and Leah were welcomed by the groom Ye Shizi. Prince Jing nodded at the Duke of Chang'an, who was sitting on the main seat. The current Duke of Chang'an was Empress Xiaohuai's brother, Prince Jing's uncle. One meeting, the two of them communicated a great deal with just a glance. Prince Jing's aunt, the Duchess of Chang'an, was also attending to the guests. When she saw Prince Jing had brought a young man with him as his partner, her eyes were full of smiles. Soon a servant girl came and handed Leah a pair of jade butterflies. Smiling, she said, "My lady thanks you for coming to attend the celebration and also wishes the two of you happiness together forever." That's cute. Wow. Leah accepted the butterflies, then saw the Duchess of Chang'an smiling at him from a distance. He was confused. Wasn't it Ye Qingyan's wedding today? Why were they saying that to him and Prince Jing? Unless, Leah suddenly realized, did Prince Jing bring him along today so he could meet his family? He covered his face. It was too sudden. He wasn't prepared at all. This was such a happy surprise. I'm living for this wholesomeness. I know it's not gonna last long. We better not have a bloody red wedding. I will eat a book if we have a bloody red wedding. I just hope Leah doesn't explain that Prince Jing essentially is just a character in a book. My heart would break at that. That's my biggest fear. Like, honestly, I don't know how this resolves in a way where I'm like, yes, I could not wish for a better ending. I think my ideal ending would be them living their lives together until they die at a very old age, sleeping together or something like that, and then Xiaoye wakes up and happens to meet someone who looks like Prince Jing in the real world. That would make me extremely happy, but I don't necessarily think we're gonna get that. Okay. Chapter 70, Meeting the Family. Ye Qingyan wore scarlet wedding robes, a smile broad on his face. The princess of Jinju was draped in a veil embroidered with mandarin ducks playing in the water, and she was holding a jade vase and Ryi. Although her face was hidden while the couple took their bows, it was just a glimpse of her bright red lips smiling. I also love the fact that her veil is animal themed. I'm not sure if that's a very common practice, but it's kind of nice because it highlights the characterization that we had of her of loving animals in the previous one. Leo watched the young couple perform their wedding vows, feeling emotional. Partly thanks to his help, these two were able to break through the original plot of the novel and be together. He hoped they could be happy and at peace, safe and healthy. This was a good sign. The other pair from the book was now different too. He couldn't help but sneak a glance at Prince Jing, only to find that he was already looking at him. The two of them felt for each other's hands underneath their sleeves. Leo made a wish in his heart. The wedding proceeded smoothly, with the Duke of Chang'an hosting. Soon after, an old servant came to tell Prince Jing that there was an old acquaintance who wanted to see him, and my nerves immediately shot up. As soon as Prince Jing saw who the servant was, he knew who was summoning him. His hand tightened around Li's. Okay, just a footnote. Two mandarin ducks playing in water is a proverb used to describe loving couples. Mandarin ducks are a traditional symbol of romantic love and fidelity. Okay, I'm glad they mentioned that. Did this mean Prince Jing wanted him to come along? As Liu followed, Prince Jing had one hand on his and one hand on the crystal bottle. Even though Liu knew it was ridiculous, he still felt a little jealous. Who did Prince Jing like better, him or the fish? I can't believe we're actually getting the I'm jealous of myself trope here. If he had to compete against any other human, he wouldn't be worried at all. But against the fish? After all, Prince Jing had turned his entire mana into a huge tank for the fish. He'd done many things he'd never done before for the fish's sake. And as Li Gongzi, he was tasked with taking care of the fish. Even all the accessories he was given were of fish. When you thought of it like that, it was a little terrifying. Could it be that all those fish gifts weren't because his name meant fish, but because he came second to the fish? No, sir, it's actually something completely else that you're not even considering. After all, Prince Jing had turned... Oh, sorry, I read that already. No, he had to know for sure. If Prince Jing dared to like the fish more, he'd never let him hear the end of it. In an instant, it was like Li Ye had been overtaken by the god of jealousy. He'd completely forgotten that his new nemesis was in fact himself. He's hopeless. What? And like, that feels like a trick question, because even if he asks Prince Jing, okay, who do you prefer, me or your fish? And Prince Jing is like, oh, you. Then once Xiao Ye is back in fish mode, he's gonna be feeling jealous about his human self that is now, according to his own knowledge, preferable for Prince Jing. So, like, I don't think Prince Jing can win either way. And then he bought the fake fish, being jealous of himself. Oh, goodness. Prince Jing had no idea what Xiao Ye was thinking about next to him. The two of them held hands as they walked into the back garden of Chang'an Manor. In the depths of the flower bushes, an elderly man with snowy white hair was warming a pot of wine on a little stove made of red clay. Prince Jing pursed his lips and walked forward with Li. You're here? When the elder saw the two of them, he wasn't at all surprised. He casually pointed to the chairs before him and said, smiling, "Come sit." Prince Jing bowed respectfully and sat down with Li. He was just pondering who this elder man might be when he suddenly smelled the scent of green plum wine. He'd heard all the green plum wine in Chang'an Manor was made by the old Duke of Chang'an, so who else could this be? It was Ye Qingyan's grandfather. Prince Jing's grandfather, the old Duke of Chang'an. Suddenly excited, Li got up to bow. Hello. In the book, this elderly man was the backbone of the House of Chang'an, but due to his health, he never officially appeared. After disaster had befallen Ye Qingyan, he had passed away from illness. Now that Ye Qingyan and the princess were getting married, however, the old Duke of Chang'an was fine too. Leo never thought he'd get to see the man in person. He truly was meeting Prince Jing's family. This is so cute! Ye Qian glanced at the youth, smiling, and then at Prince Jing. What a nice young man. Ye Qian gestured for Liu to sit down. He considered himself to be very good at reading people. It was easy to see what kind of personality youth at this age had with just a glance. You've decided, Your Highness? Ye Qian asked Prince Jing. Prince Jing nodded, expression serious. Ye Qian didn't ask him to justify himself. Then I've made my decision too, he said, still smiling. I will do everything I can to help Your Highness. Is this come meet my future partner so that you can decide whether or not to support me in running for the throne? Is this what we're having, or am I misreading the situation? They looked at each other for a while. With both calmness and gratitude in his eyes, Prince Jing poured more wine for Ye Qian and some for himself. They both drank, as though they'd come to some sort of agreement. Leah didn't know what they were talking about, and this wasn't the kind of situation where he could just butt in. So instead, he pushed his own bamboo cup in front of Prince Jing. Fish couldn't think about things that were too complicated, but he could at least taste the wine right. Sir, did we forget your alcohol tolerance? Just a quick question. Ye Qian and Prince Jing both paused. Ye Qian held back his laughter, ready to sit back and watch. Prince Jing glanced at Liya, then filled Liya's cup. But just when Liya had happily picked up the cup to have a sniff, Prince Jing stole the bamboo cup from his hand and drank all of it. Your Highness, that's my wine, Liya objected quietly. The prince had poured it into the cup he'd claimed, so it was his. Prince Jing shook his head, smiling. He couldn't let the carp spirit get drunk outside. Just a whiff of the scent was enough. Liya mumbled in complaints. Meanwhile, Ye Qian drank leisurely, keeping out of it. A calm, silent youth with a lively and enthusiastic one. He was happy to see this couple together. He'd seen Ye Qingyan and the Princess of Jinju as well. They were also good kids, just like these two. I'm so happy we have nice parents in this, because I know it's not actually parents, but I just mean parents, family, supportive relatives, because it's so often that we don't have that when it's royalty related, because obviously the emperor has to prioritize politics. So it's nice that at least his maternal side is very caring of him. Where am I? When he saw the pair of jade butterflies Leo was holding, Ye Qian smiled even wider and got out the jade pendant he'd been given when he got married. Meeting your boyfriend's family isn't hard at all, Leo thought, clutching the jade pendant and butterflies. To be honest, he'd always been worried that Prince Jing's family would be against them. After all, he and Prince Jing were in a gay relationship. Weren't they worried about Prince Jing's future? I don't think in the book, in the novel that he's transmigrated into, it matters, because otherwise they would probably have, if it was an issue, he probably would have seen it be an issue with Qianye and Prince Jing's relationship as well, and there was never a mention of that being an issue. He was friendly with Ye Qingyan and the princess already, so they didn't count, but the old Duke of Chang'an and the Duchess of Chang'an had all seemed to take a shine to him immediately, giving him gifts. When Prince Jing wasn't paying attention, the old Duke of Chang'an had even secretly told Liya that he'd give him a few jugs of good wine next time. Oh goodness, that's gonna be a mess. So, what's with the huge sense of responsibility I'm feeling right now? After meeting the family and being treated well, he had to treat Prince Jing even better now. Seeing Shaya's son's serious expression, Prince Jing really wanted to pinch his cheeks. Naturally, no one in the house of Chang'an would disapprove of them. Prince Jing was long past the age to get married and have a child, so there still hadn't been a but there still hadn't been a single person he was close to. Now that he finally had someone he liked, they were all delighted and wished everything could be made official for Prince Jing right away. But Prince Jing's marriage had to be approved by the emperor. Taking Shaye to see his family at Chang'an Manor was the most he could do for now. Liu Qingyan's marriage made Prince Jing, who was never jealous, feel a little jealous. That's new. But also, what do you mean never jealous? I swear we've seen him jealous a few times. Prince Jing had no hesitations. Of course he would marry Shaye, but he had to think about when to let the emperor know and when to ask the emperor for Shaye, especially now that the old Duke of Chang'an was on his side. He was the noble Di son and constantly faced judgments and questioning throughout his life, sometimes even assassination attempts. He was used to this and did what he had to in order to survive. But after the house of Chang'an had almost come to harm, and then several of the princes had tried to do something to his fish, Prince Jing realized he couldn't protect the people around him by keeping to himself. We love that. He couldn't trust any of the other princes. If he wanted to protect the people he wanted, then he had to become the emperor. Mission statements achieved. I'm so happy. I'm a bit late, but I think Leo was mad at the carriage being large because Prince Jing used a smaller one at the fair on purpose so they could sit closer together. Oh, okay. That actually makes sense. That's so funny. Due to the disability he was born with, he still had a long way to go, and the path might be filled with danger. Before he could finally achieve a safe, peaceful life, he'd have to do anything he could to avoid involving Shaye, as he couldn't bear to think of risking him. So for now, he could only date Shaye. He couldn't confirm Shaye's status, but one day he'd give Shaye everything he deserved. Leah tucked the jade butterfly and pendant away in his robes. Your Highness, I want to walk around by myself for a bit, then I'll head back on my own, he said. Since they'd made their arrangements, Leah was putting much less effort into his excuses. It didn't matter. Prince Jing wasn't ever going to ask. Prince Jing watched as he walked to the edge of the garden and behind some trees. Leah quickly transformed back to a fish and then slid back over on his tail. The crystal bottle was just behind Prince Jing. With Prince Jing blocking his line of sight, the old Duke of Chang'an wouldn't see anything. Okay, hold on. I'm having a little bit of forgetfulness here. He can't control when he transforms, right? He just it's 2 hours and it's 2 hours together, and once he transforms he is stuck as a fish for the rest of the day, right? So don't you think maybe it would have been better to time it in a way where you could at least say, oh, I just came to drop by, I can't stay, I just wanted to wish you guys congratulations, and then disappear? Because right now it kind of sounds like, oh, I've been a fish for an hour, I'm taking a quick break and then I'll come back, and I don't think that's how it works, right? Leah jumped quietly into the crystal bottle. Although Prince Jing wasn't looking directly at the fish, he knew Leah had made his way back safely when he heard the quiet splash behind him. Chen was in high spirits and ordered someone to bring over a Wei Qi set. Last time I played against your highness, you hadn't moved out of Jingtai Hall yet, he said, smiling. I was ordered to go see you by the emperor. So many years have passed in the blink of an eye. Prince Jing nodded, gesturing for his grandfather to play white and that he would play black. Leo swam to the mouth of the bottle, carefully leaning against the side. Perhaps the two of them had spoken so mysteriously before because he was there. But even now that he was gone, the two focused on the game instead, and Leo learned even less. Leo only knew how to use Go sets for games that weren't Go, so he didn't understand what was going on at all. Very quickly he became sleepy. Prince Jing kept an eye on his fish. As soon as he saw the fish drifting off, about to tip over back into the bottle, Prince Jing quickly found a way out of the difficult match. Soon the winner and loser were clear. Ye Tian rubbed his chin. Your Highness, your aura is very different from before. Is it because of him? Prince Jing smiled casually in response. Protecting oneself was different from protecting someone else. Ye Tian rarely got a chance to see Prince Jing and wanted to continue their conversation, but a servant suddenly came to announce the emperor was here. Ye Tian immediately went to greet him with Prince Jing. The emperor was wearing a set of casual robes, and he was only accompanied by the head of the imperial guard as he came to Chang'an Manor in person. Originally, there had been no need for the emperor to show up to Ye Shize and the princess of Jinju's wedding. He just had to make sure his gifts arrived. But due to the mess the second prince had created, the emperor had to reassure and comfort the king of Jinju. So he came to visit personally to show how much he cared about the marriage. The Duke and Duchess of Chang'an and all the officials kneeled down, greeting the emperor. The emperor waved an arm cheerfully. Continue with the wedding. I'm just here for a cup of wine. Joyfully beaming, he sat down to speak with the king of Jinju for a while. Gradually, the guests started to relax. Ye Tian and Prince Jing walked into the main hall one after another and bowed to the emperor. Ye Tian's health had been declining these past few years, so he rarely entered the palace. Seeing Ye Tian as well as Prince Jing beside the new young couple at their wedding, the emperor couldn't help thinking about his past with Empress Xiaohui. Hui? Oh, I keep mispronouncing that one. Since Ye Tian had already agreed to help Prince Jing, he needed to fully utilize the advantages Prince Jing had. The Empress's rooms are still maintained here at the manor. He said, Does your highness want to take a look? That is clever, playing on this man's guilty conscience, I feel. Conscience? Sorry, not conscious. The emperor rarely came to Chang'an Manor since Emperor Xiaohui had passed away, mostly because he was afraid it would hurt too much. But at that moment, he couldn't help but nod. And as Prince Jing was Emperor Xiaohui's only son still left in this world, the emperor asked him to come along. Prince Jing still carried the bottle with him. When he took a glance, the emperor was briefly speechless. It's only been a short while, and your fish has changed this much? The emperor recalled the letter Prince Jing had sent, specifically reporting the changes in his fish, but reading it in the letter was completely different from seeing it. The last time the emperor saw the fish, it was still black and with flecks of gold. Now the entire fish was a different color. No wonder the emperor took a while to react. It looks like Lao Kong was right, he said. It really is part koi. The emperor walked closer, looking at the fish in the bottle. Afraid the emperor would find something amiss, he was too afraid to even blow a bubble. He put on an elegant mien, trying to pretend to be an emotionless koi. Good thing the fish wasn't the main character today. Soon the emperor followed the old Duke of Chang'an to Emperor Xiaohui's old rooms. The room Ye Tian spoke of had belonged to the Emperor Xiaohui before she got married. The emperor led Prince Jing inside. Seeing all the decor that was so similar to the Changchun palaces, the emperor's vision started to go blurry. He sat down and began to tell Prince Jing a few stories about Emperor Shaohui. Leo was in the crystal bottle, so he had a lower angle than everyone else. While the emperor saw many familiar decorations, Leo saw a portrait of a servant girl on the wall. Because this was Emperor Shaohui's room, Leo guessed she must have painted it herself. Prince Jing was good at painting too. Did he inherit the skill from his mother? It wasn't impossible. Leo looked at the painting for a while before his gaze landed on an unobtrusive wardrobe beneath where it hung. At the corner of the wardrobe an old plush was sticking out. Leo thought it looked a bit familiar. After he stared at the black and yellow plush for a while, Leo realized with a start. Wasn't this the cloth tiger he'd seen in the secret the system had shown him? Although there was no way to confirm if it was the exact same one, it was very similar, and the tiger in the memory had only been half sewn, but this one was clearly already completed. Did the secret have something to do with Emperor Shaohui? But Leo was very sure the room in the secret wasn't this one, but one in the palace. Could it be Emperor Shaohui's Chang'an palace? Leo had never been, so he had no way of knowing. All he could do was stare at the tiger in frustration. Suddenly he had an idea. The fish tapped at the glass in the direction of the tiger. Prince Jing noticed Leo's urgency at once, and he walked over and found the cloth tiger in the wardrobe. He thought about it, then took it out. The emperor smiled. Your mother loved things like this. She made some for you back then too. There are many in Changchun Palace. Do you still remember? Prince Jing nodded slightly. The emperor's words were like fireworks, instantly exploding inside Leo's head. The secret was Prince Jing's secret. Even Prince Jing remembered the tiger plush. It really must be at Changchun Palace. What kind of secret was this? Oh goodness, I guess we'll have to wait to find out. We are again at the end of a chapter, 6 minutes before the end of an hour, so I am gonna again pause here and just take 10 minutes, make myself the correct tea, and we will be back for the final hour's stretch. Okay, we are back. Um, quick note. Hold on, let me just catch up with the chat real quick. Perfect timing with the break is today. I love it when it works out like that. It like scratches an itch with my ADHD. I just got volume 4 EPUB, so excited to read it, but I really want the special edition, but it was so expensive. Yeah, they know Danmei is getting popular, and so they jacked up the prices. And they, like, it feels, at least to me, like they thin out the amount of pages so they can get more volumes. And I know that's not always the case, but yeah, for sure they're also making the volumes. Okay, yes, so I'm not the only one who thinks that. Um, so quick thing, I checked now, and we are about 54 pages from the end, and I know I generally can get about 40 pages done in 2 hours. So I think I'm gonna be cutting off this live a little bit shorter than just the normal 3 hours and do like um, just 12 pages for the next hour, so it might end a little bit earlier than an hour, maybe not, depending on well how quickly I read. But I do want to leave enough left so we have a solid reading session next week as well. And I now have I think PG tips here with me instead of the accidental Earl Grey, which I do not enjoy. So I am excited. Anyway, okay. We were on page 341, chapter 21. Fishy messing up plans. Trying to figure out more about the secrets, Liu pressed against the walls of the bottle, but that was all the Emperor had to say about it. Everything else he said was about Emperor Xiaohui's other interests and hobbies. Liu knew that due to Emperor Xiaohui, the Emperor always had a soft spot for Prince Jing. He'd even given Prince Jing a job recently, and it seemed he intended to rely on him. If Liu couldn't figure out the secret right now, maybe it was because it wasn't time yet. Right now, the Emperor and Prince Jing were alone together. It was a good opportunity to kindle their father-son relationship. As a result, Liu tried to be unobtrusive, listening quietly as the Emperor told stories to Prince Jing. Without realizing it, the Emperor went on for a while. When he emerged from his reminiscence, he smiled and said, "Tianqi, do you think I talk too much?" That's actually quite funny. The Emperor's mouth was upturned, but his eyes were distant. As an emperor and father, he rarely showed such a sorrowful side to his sons. Prince Jing shook his head, reached out hesitantly, and patted the Emperor on the back of the hand. This was also very rare, but Prince Jing's gaze showed how much he cared for the Emperor. The Emperor was very comforted by this gesture. It's nice. I wasn't expecting us to be getting something like this. Tianqi, I know you're very good. Jiang Qing has told me all about your performance at the Ministry of Works. You're doing well. The Emperor patted Prince Jing on the shoulder. He was about to say something else when a guard came to report. Your Majesty, the Sixth Prince is here to congratulate the couple. Of course he is, because we could not just have a nice moment. The Emperor glanced at Prince Jing, who was standing next to him. The house of Chang'an was Prince Jing's family. It was natural that he attend Ye Shizi and the Princess of Jinju's wedding. But what did the marriage have to do with the Sixth Prince? The Sixth Prince wasn't family or a friend, nor was he an important official of the court. What was he doing here? Yeah, that makes me nervous, the fact that they're highlighting it so much. Not to mention, if the Sixth Prince really was here to celebrate, why didn't he come earlier like the rest of the guests? Why did he only arrive when the wedding was about to end? The Emperor only came so late because he didn't want to alarm anyone, and he's the freaking Emperor, so he can, like, probably fall asleep in the middle of the wedding and they would not be able to say anything. I'm kind of hoping that the Sixth Prince wasn't aware of the Emperor being at the wedding and is going to be caught off guard by the Emperor's presence, but I don't think he's that dumb, unfortunately. Why did Mu Tianxiao come even later? Coming to celebrate was probably an excuse. The real reason was he wanted to show himself in front of the Emperor. Oh, that's filthy. That is very filthy. And actually that would make me feel not good if I was the Emperor. The Emperor saw through the Sixth Prince and said impassively, "The Duke of Chang'an will take care of him. Let him be." He wasn't in the mood to see the Sixth Prince. The Emperor spoke a bit more with Ye Chen, then decided to return to the palace. This time, the Sixth Prince sent word that he'd like to escort the Emperor back. The Emperor agreed this time. Close, but not good. No, good enough. Damn it. He took Prince Jing along with him. When Mu Tianxiao saw that Prince Jing was with the Emperor, he froze. Lia was with Prince Jing as always. When Lia saw the Sixth Prince's shock, he happily shook his tail. So what? We're not going to just let you have the Emperor. I mean, it wasn't your choice, it was the Emperor's, but sure. With a sharp eye, Lia noticed a slender woman standing next to the Sixth Prince, wearing a pomegranate-coloured pleated dress. That sounds stunning. The woman was wearing a veiled hat that covered her face, but even through the veil one could see her eyes that sparkled like water. Her hands, peeking out from her sleeves, were like jade. Although no one could see what she looked like, everyone wondered what kind of beauty was under the veil. Lia didn't know who this woman was, but the Sixth Prince had already tried using the Third Prince to shove people into someone else's homes. This was clearly Ye Shizi's wedding, but he brought a beautiful woman, and he came right after the Emperor, so it was clear why he was here. Perhaps the Sixth Prince wanted to give this woman to the Emperor. Lia remembered that in the original book, when the fight for the throne had gone to a boiling point, the Sixth Prince had given the Emperor an unknown beauty as a concubine. She'd said a lot of good things about the Sixth Prince to the Emperor in private, which Prince Jing couldn't compete with. The plot was in complete shambles. Were they there already? Seems like it. I'm a little bit stressed. He had to find a way to mess it up. That was what the fish was good at. Why do I feel like the turning point is gonna be him failing to mess it up this time? Because we've had a lot of victories, but it can't last forever, I don't think, unfortunately. The Sixth Prince has a death wish, honestly. It's not very, like, he's smart, but he's not as smart as he thinks he is. As Lia was thinking of a plan, he heard Mu Tianxiao say, "Royal Father, it's a long trip back to the palace. I just so happen to have brought a servant talented at massages, and she would be honored to serve you." Seems like Mu Tianxiao still had some shame. He didn't announce in broad daylight that he'd bought a beauty for his dad and asked him to accept her. He just said she was a servant who could give him a massage. Whether or not he wanted to keep or use her was up to the Emperor. He was a lot smarter than the stupid Third Prince, unfortunately. Leo was with Prince Jing, right next to the Emperor. He had a bit of reservation in front of the Emperor. He couldn't just burst out of the bottle. He thought perhaps he could flip over again. Prince Jing would definitely ask the Emperor to summon someone to see the fish if he did, and perhaps if there were more people here, the Emperor would forget about the beauty and the Sixth Prince had brought. Deciding on his plan, Lia decided to put it into action. But as a coy, he wasn't the same as before. He was being taken care of a little too well now, so it was more difficult to flip over than to just slide around everywhere. Lia was huffing with frustration as he tried to lean to the side. He'd yet to flip completely over when the Emperor said in shock, "Tianqi, why is your fish a little tilted to the side?" Actually, Prince Jing had noticed as soon as the fish started moving that Xiaoyu hadn't had anything to drink, nor had anyone touched him. Nothing was wrong. Prince Jing suspected Xiaoyu was doing this on purpose to get his attention, the same way he kept knocking on the bottle in Emperor Xiaohui's room. So he thought Xiaoyu wanted him to notice something. But unexpectedly, the Emperor was also staring at his fish. Before Prince Jing could react, the Emperor already said, "There seems to be something wrong with Prince Jing's fish. Guards!" I love how invested this Emperor is in his son's fish. It is glorious, even if it's for the completely wrong reasons. The Emperor ordered the Imperial Guards to fetch the Imperial physician they'd brought along. Liu was taken aback. Why did it feel like the Emperor was more worried than Prince Jing? Now he was afraid to flip over completely. He had to maintain this angle. Oh crap. Unfortunately, that was even harder than flipping over. The two Imperial physicians rushed over. Regardless of whether or not they knew how to take care of a fish, they had to try in front of the Emperor. They looked at the fish for a while, and then they discussed it among themselves even longer. After the sixth prince had made his offer, his smile remained plastered on his face. Even though he was more capable than the third prince, he was still experiencing the same neglect and awkwardness the third prince had gone through. Can you imagine having to, you thought you were just forcing the smile for a moment and now you have to keep that pose? Honestly, this is me anytime my dog so much as sneezes. Vet, my puppy requires you. Oh goodness, I think that's very normal with a new pet of any kind, to be fair. In the end, the physician said that Leah might have eaten too much and there was nothing wrong with him. With that, Leah cooperated and straightened out his body. He pushed through the water with his fins slowly, puffing up his cheeks, looking like he really was too full to corroborate what the physician's diagnosis was. Not all fish are this cooperative, clearly. "Since the fish is fine," said the Emperor, "I'll be returning to the palace. I just need Prince Jing to accompany me." His expression was a bit dark. The sixth prince? The massage servant? He only mentioned Prince Jing and no one else. Leah thought the Emperor was mad, but at who? He was a little worried. When no one noticed, Prince Jing put a finger in the bottle, petting the fish's back to calm him down. True, Leah thought. Prince Jing was right here with him. What was there to worry about? Everything! The moment you say what's there to worry about, I start worrying about, if we're gonna have a thorn on the side of the road. Never mind anything like assassins. The Emperor returned to the palace in his imperial carriage. Prince Jing rode behind him on a horse. Before they entered the palace, the Emperor stopped and looked into the crystal bottle. "Tianqi, I must thank your fish for today." Leah had been listening the whole time. Huh? Why was the Emperor thanking him? So the Emperor was mad? But who was he mad at? The sixth prince? Why? The sixth prince had only come to do one thing, present a beauty to the Emperor. But when he thought about the time and place he chose to do it, Leah suddenly understood. "Please explain, I am dumb." If the sixth prince was trying to curry favor with the Emperor like normal, the Emperor might not have gotten angry. Any other time, the Emperor might have accepted the servant. But the sixth prince shouldn't have done it at the Chang'an manor. To be fair, in front of the other king as well. Oh, yes, and Emperor Xiaohui's family home. Even worse, he did it when the Emperor had just been reminiscing about Emperor Xiaohui with Prince Jing. He'd basically just slapped the Emperor in the face. We love some good timing. We love it, okay? That makes me happy. The Sixth Prince's mother was not favored by the Emperor, so he'd wanted to present a beauty to the Emperor for a long time, but he was afraid that giving the Emperor someone directly would result in a lot of trouble, and the Emperor might not accept it. That's why he thought he would wait until the Emperor left the palace in casual clothes and give him a peek at a half-covered beauty. Sorry, just give me a second, guys. Sorry about that, guys. Okay. Mm, I completely lost my place now. If the Emperor himself was interested, it would make things easier for him. But he'd failed to predict that the Emperor would reminisce about the Empress while attending a wedding, or else he would never have picked such a time. The Emperor must have been incredibly irritated, but he couldn't reject the Sixth Prince outright when the Sixth Prince hadn't offended outright. With so many people looking on, the Emperor needed an excuse to get out of the situation the Sixth Prince had put him in. All the Emperor had at his disposal was the fish. So the moment the fish started to tilt, the Emperor insisted on summoning the physicians to stir things up a bit. Oh my goodness, that is actually like great, because it's the Emperor being proactive in that decision and not kind of just leaning into the situation that Shah created for him, not being led around by Shah. I like that more. Leah thought he'd successfully messed up the Sixth Prince's plan, but it was actually the Emperor who'd seized the opportunity and messed up the Sixth Prince's plan himself. Thinking back to his original plan, Leah realized there were plenty of holes. After he flipped over, perhaps Prince Jing wouldn't notice in time, or if he did and the Emperor didn't call for any physicians, or Prince Jing asked the Emperor and the Emperor ignored him, if the Emperor was in the mood for a new concubine, there would be no helping it. This time, his luck had actually won out. He'd somehow managed to run into a situation where even the Emperor needed a bailout. Hold on, Leah thought belatedly. Was this the luck the system had given him? He remembered the system had increased his luck stats on the following categories: slapping villains in the face, well-fed and well-clothed, and one-shot KO. He'd always worked hard at feeding and clothing himself. His luck wasn't obvious, and slapping villains in the face was easy to understand. This was the kind of situation where they'd come into play, right? It seemed like the Koi's traits really did come in handy. After Prince Jing escorted the Emperor back to the palace, he returned to Chang'an Manor. It was dark now, and after sending the newlyweds to their room, most of the guests had left. but the sixth prince was still there. Fifth brother, we meet again. Wu Tianxiao had never shown his temper to outsiders. He smiled as he greeted Prince Jing with a bow. This man makes me very weary. Leo noticed that the veiled beauty was still with the sixth prince. The sixth prince probably didn't know why the emperor had treated him so coldly, so he wanted to find out from Prince Jing. The little carp immediately turned into a fighting fish. He swiped his tail at the sixth prince furiously. Master, husband, don't pay him any attention. Husband? So you care to examine that thought just a little bit? Because you've been referring to him as your boyfriend up until this point. Prince Jing nodded at the sixth prince, unperturbed. The sixth prince was just about to turn the subject to the emperor when Prince Jing looked straight past him. Ooh, I don't think that's gonna go over well. He wasn't able to stop Prince Jing, but his gaze fell to the crystal bottle Prince Jing always carried around with him and the fish that wouldn't stop moving. Leo quickly realized that Mu Tianxiao's icy cold gaze was aimed at him. Leo froze up for a moment and quickly went to hide where Prince Jing's sleeve covered the bottle a little bit. As long as he didn't look at the sixth prince probably wouldn't look at him either. Is this peekaboo? What's that logic? After waiting patiently for a while, Leo peeked out again. The sixth prince had already turned around. Leo wanted to look some more, but the crystal bottle was suddenly covered by something. Prince Jing had stopped moving and turned the bottle so the fish could only look at him. Sheesh. Oh my goodness. Going from boyfriend to husband in like 100 pages, not bad. True, very true. Okay, so we are on page 348, and there are like 51 pages left, so we'll do at least another chapter, I think. Chapter 72, Fishy Plan. Leo thought he should warn Prince Jing that the sixth prince was his adversary in the original book. Now that the second prince was out of the way and the third prince had lost favor with the emperor, the sixth prince wasn't to be underestimated in this fight for the throne. Leo had once urged Prince Jing to be wary of the sixth prince, but he knew they had to be more proactive than that with someone like Mu Tianxiao. Prince Jing and the House of Chang'an had suffered so much because of him in the book. It would be best if they could take him down before he got too powerful. But how should he convince Prince Jing to make a move? He was a young Gongzi who always stayed in the manor and never went out. Even if he was dating Prince Jing and Prince Jing cared for him, he didn't think he had enough sway to convince Prince Jing. Sir, you are oblivious. Very oblivious. Honestly, he had to admit he had no sway at all. He wasn't a good strategist, and analyzing a situation wasn't one of his strengths. All he understood was that being vigilant was the same as staying defensive, and it wouldn't change the situation. But actively doing something would be changing to the offensive, which would mean Prince Jing had to let go of the way he'd always done things. Plus, that would catch the sixth prince's attention. As things currently stood, Prince Jing probably didn't have any intention to fight for the throne yet. If he really started clashing with the sixth prince, he'd have to fight for the throne whether he wanted to or not. Sir, if you paid attention, you would know that he's already planning to become emperor just so he can protect you. And marry you. Okay, Frankly, it was harder to think of a reason to get Prince Jing to agree to fight for the throne than to just get him to deal with the Sixth Prince. Prince Jing could keep his guard up against the Sixth Prince without needing to know why, but there was no way he'd just fight for the throne without a really good reason. Leah was also worried that Prince Jing would think he had some sort of ulterior motive and was using him if he started to nudge the conversation towards the throne. Sob, how do I convince Prince Jing? Wept Leah, completely unaware Prince Jing had already had his own plans. No matter what, he had to at least try. It was over for the third prince, but the sixth prince was now now champing at the bits. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that correctly. He even dared to present the emperor with a beauty. This meant the sixth prince was already preparing to position someone in the back palace to help him. They couldn't let him succeed. So when he got the opportunity, Leah turned into a human and said to Prince Jing, "Your Highness, the sixth prince." Leah concentrated. He wanted to use both emotion and reason to convince Prince Jing to take the throne. He needed to argue for him to consider his duty, given his position and status. When Prince Jing heard him say the sixth prince, his eyes narrowed dangerously. Prince Jing didn't like the sixth prince, but Leah didn't notice anything unusual. He continued on, not catching on to Prince Jing's mood, and ended up pushed onto the bed, a pair of lips covering his roughly. Ever since the two of them had gone together, Prince Jing had always let Leah take the lead when it came to more intimate acts. They did whatever Leah wanted, however he wanted. Even if they couldn't go all the way, Prince Jing waited patiently and never tried to force him. In fact, he cared a lot about how Leah felt and had never gotten mad at him. Although Leah never said anything, he was very happy to get closer to Prince Jing. So much so that he'd almost forgotten he was dating a tyrant. With this push, all of Prince Jing's hidden cruelty and fierceness were released. Leah's cries were muffled as he hit Prince Jing in the chest over and over. He liked it when they acted lovingly, sweetly, but he didn't like it rough. Plus, he had important things to talk about. But it was like Prince Jing couldn't hear and didn't care. He just continued to press into his lips roughly, easily stripping away all of Leah's defenses. Leah was used to enjoying moments like these, so he very quickly lost the will to fight and relaxed into the bed. His eyes were shimmering, and all that came out of him were small moans. "Okay." Prince Jing only calmed down once the two of them were covered in a light layer of sweat. After Leah recovered some energy, he smoothed out Prince Jing's hair and said hoarsely, "What's gotten into you, Your Highness?" To be honest, he wasn't really angry. Prince Jing had just kissed Leah too hard in the beginning and frightened him. Leah's lips were swollen. After Prince Jing was done, all of his viciousness seemed to evaporate. Lightly kissing Leah's face, he stuffed a slightly sweaty note into his hand. Leah opened it to see, "Do not look at other men." I mean, at least he's being very clear about what the issue is, so Leah can directly clarify instead of him not clarifying it and thus making it impossible for Leah to clarify himself. Why did it feel like he'd somehow wronged the powerful master of his? Leah rubbed his temples. "Your Highness, did you misunderstand? I didn't look at other men. I just..." Never mind, I gave him too much credit. Leah's heart missed a beat. He'd only briefly mentioned the sixth prince this time. He might have mentioned him a few times before as well. Did Prince Jing think he felt something for the sixth prince? This note had been pre-prepared as well. How long had this person been jealous? Leah thumped the bed angrily. "I'm trying to tell you he's your enemy in life, not in love." Prince Jing stared at him. Leah sighed and took the opportunity. "I might as well just say it, Your Highness. If the sixth prince were to ascend the throne, it would be very bad for you. Can you stop him?" Prince Jing slowly looked at Leah, a particular expression on his face. It seemed like he didn't understand Leah, but it didn't seem like he was suspicious either. No matter, Leah hadn't thought he could convince Prince Jing in just a few sentences anyway. The misunderstanding just now had given him an idea. Leah thought that other than appealing to the prince's emotions and reasons, he could use another tactic. Himself. The funny thing is, I don't even think he needed to go to that other step, but do I think Prince Jing is going to tell him he doesn't need to go to that other step? No, I think he's going to take full advantage of it. After he diligently, sincerely used himself a few times and nearly passed out from exhaustion in the process, Prince Jing finally smiled and reluctantly agreed to stop the sixth prince from getting the throne. They didn't even leave me in suspense. Two other adult princes were clearly out of the picture. After the sixth prince was gone, Prince Jing would be the only one left. This basically meant Prince Jing was agreeing to join in on the fight for the throne. Except he wasn't stealing because he was the D son. The throne should have been his to begin with. The fish, who had sacrificed so much for all of this, thought, Sob. It's so hard getting the Tyrant to do things he should be doing by himself. Why did the duty of carrying the protagonist's halo fall onto this fish? You kind of took it from him and decided you needed to carry it yourself. He was carrying it himself. He just wasn't telling you about it. But if not him, who would consider the Tyrant's future for him? Leo had finally taken care of something that had been weighing heavily on his mind, so now it was time to take care of a few smaller things. One of which was, since he and Prince Jing were constantly tangled together, he was no longer very good at estimating his transformation time. Although the system would always give him a countdown, the system's warning constantly came at the last minute. There were several times when he'd nearly blown his cover and basically had to roll off the bed to escape. Prince Jing was having about as good a time as his fish, so Leo wanted something like a clock to remind himself more effectively. There were no clocks in ancient times. People either kept track of the time through sundials or water clocks, neither of which were very accurate nor convenient to use. Leo remembered hourglasses though, and tried to explain them to Wang Xi. After Leo gestured for a while, Wang Xi finally understood. Li Gongzi, do you want an hourglass? This old servant knows where to get one and can acquire it for you. So hourglasses existed. Leo thanked him many times, then shoved a few boxes of peach blossom pastries at Wang Xi. Then he turned around and considered the second small thing. I love how that's how he bribes people. Before Leo had gone to buy a wedding gift for Ye Qingyan and the princess, he'd already given the gifts, but he still remembered all the fake goods he'd tried to buy. His luck was so good when it came to slapping the sixth prince in the face, but why did he keep running into fakes when he was shopping? Was it his taste or his luck? Maybe a bit of both. Leo didn't want to admit to either option, so he asked Wang Gonggong, are there a lot of merchants selling fake goods around the manor? If there were a lot around, then it would be normal for him to run into them. Wang Xi had gone with them that day, and he was the one who led all the guards to arrest all the shop owners that were selling fakes. He immediately understood what Li Yue meant and burst into laughter. There weren't many before, but Gongzi, your luck. He coughed. Your luck is just too good, and you ran into all of them. The administrative office can't wait to thank you. Yeah, I think it just depends what angle you're looking at it from. On the one hand, it's unlucky that he kept almost being fooled, but the thing is he was never actually fooled into spending any money, so that's lucky. And he helped them catch a lot of scammers, so that's lucky as well. I think it's all just about perspective in this case. That was the truth. Li Gongzi going shopping was much more effective than someone from the administrative office investigating personally. Since there are people selling fakes, then buying fakes happens fairly often too, right? Li's expression stiffened, and he tried to recover a little dignity. I think the rocks in the fish tank even look pretty real. Wang Shi started laughing again. Gongzi, please stop joking. All of the gems in the fish tank are completely genuine. They were all selected from the prince's storage, unpolished. I didn't realize Leah didn't know that. Oh, but I remember it now that it's been mentioned. What? Leah was shocked. The entire tank? The red and blue stones he loved to toss around when he was bored, and the pile of purple ones he liked to kick, they were all real? Every single stone. Wang Shi nodded seriously. And they're all top quality gemstones. It wouldn't be an exaggeration to say they could buy a whole city. That's intense. Leah didn't know he'd been playing with the gems that could buy a whole city. He thought the silver rock bed and gold embroidered blanket that Prince Jing had given the fish were already quite excessive, but he was actually swimming on top of a pile of real gemstones. If he wasn't jealous before, he sure as hell is gonna be jealous now. They weren't very sparkly, so Leah never realized at all. He thought they were just ordinary rocks. It seemed he hadn't run into so many fakes because of his luck. His taste really was terrible. Leah put a hand on the wall weakly. Wang Gong, I need a sec. Wang Gong was under Prince Jing's orders to give Li Gongzi anything he wanted, but if Li Gongzi mentioned anyone else... In the past, Li Gongzi had brought up a chubby man, and Prince Jing ordered Wang Shi to look into it. Wang Shi thought this chubby fellow sounded somewhat familiar, but he never found out who it was. Now that someone else named Asek... I was wondering if that was like a, just a translation mistake or something like that. The fact that they shortened it out from second to sec. But no, that was fully on purpose, and that's kind of hilarious. An alarm went off in Wang Shi's head. He immediately asked on behalf of his master, Prince Bing, Li Gongzi, please be clear. Who is a sec, and why do you need him? It was so hard to communicate with ancient people. 2 days later, Wang Shi brought Leah a silver hourglass. Leah tried the hourglass out in accordance with his transformation magic. The hourglass was roughly 2 hours, so it worked perfectly. Leah put the hourglass away in his inventory and took it out whenever he turned into a human, so he didn't have to always have to guess the time. What he didn't know was that after he'd gotten a sec to mourn his bad taste in peace, Wang Shi recounted to Prince Jing how Li Gongzi wanted an hourglass. There was no way Prince Jing could take any of Shaye's requests lightly. Though hourglasses weren't inexpensive, they were mostly used as decoration here and weren't always accurate. The one that Leah received was different. Prince Jing had specially asked the skilled craftsmen in the palace to rush an order. And he had carefully checked the timing, so it was much more accurate than ordinary hourglasses. On the base, in a spot that wasn't too obvious, was a lightly etched fish. This man is committed to a whole other level. Prince Jing was used to taking care of Shaye. He was very happy seeing Shaye bring the hourglass with him everywhere he went in his human form. He wanted everything that Shaye owned, from the things he ate with to the things he used, to have him stamped all over them. That is insane and so cute at the same time. Okay, we are at the end of a chapter. We're on page 357. So I think it's good for us to stop here. I feel like we could reasonably finish up the last few pages in next week's live. So we're going to be ending a little bit early, but I hope you guys still enjoyed. I just want to see here. I want to know what the translation of wait a sec was in Mandarin now. That's what I was wondering as well. Like, I'm trying to... Maybe it was like wait a bit, so like... No, but that would be yi dian dian. I mean, I feel like that even in ancient Chinese would probably not... There would be something that's close enough to it that wouldn't be confusing. For Wang Xi? I can't remember the time allocations in Mandarin. They are very confusing to me. Okay, we are ending it here. Again, I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I will see you next Wednesday, same time, for the final bit of Volume 2. I'm so excited and so nervous. Bye!